Multiple AEW debuts for next week have been revealed. Plus, WWE are making some major changes to pay-per-views, premium live events, and the real reason behind an infamous scrapped Undertaker storyline has been revealed. All in the wrestling news right now. I don't know whether they've done this before, but AEW have announced some debuts.
You're joking? That's a big
Dynamite.
announcement.
Yeah, you'd have thought Tony Khan would have made a big announcement about it. How strange. Debuts next week on AEW.
Loads of them. Loads of them. 2 were announced on the show last night. 2 slight spoilers if you watch Elevation.
Yes, that's it. So, w.morrissey, first one of all. So, MJF pretty much confirming that Wardlow's opponent next week is going to be Impact Wrestling's W. Morrissey, formerly Big Cass.
Excellent. I'm honestly so happy for him.
Yeah, he's a guy that's really turned the corner.
On the up, isn't he? And he's been so honest about his struggles. And he just sort of came out and was like, yeah, you know what? I was a bit of a bellend. And I had all these substance abuse issues on top of my backstage behavior that may have fueled it. And he's worked to make himself better. And he's doing great stuff now. He's done great stuff in Impact.
Yeah,
and I really
like
just hope this trajectory continues.
Deonna Purrazzo. This is cool. So Deonna Purrazzo has been excited to do stuff in AEW for quite some time. I left a nice little natural pause.
Yeah, it's good, that.
So
chemistry.
We have great chemistry.
Yeah.
Ring of Honor the current Ring of Honor Women's World Champion Deonna Purrazzo is facing the interim Ring of Honor Women's Champion Mercedes Martinez next week on Dynamite TE. We have this issue with the interim title because Deonna Purrazzo couldn't be in attendance at Supercard of Honor because she was booked down the road at Impact's Multiverse of Matches during WrestleMania weekend. So they had this match. At the end of it, Mercedes Martinez was the interim champion. They're going to sort that mess out next week. They'll have a fun time. Purrazzo is great. Like, out of all I think there's so many stars that left WWE and just really hit the ground running. Deonna Purrazzo was one of them. They barely scratched the surface of what she was capable of.
It was a bizarre release, wasn't it? Because she's obviously really good.
She's very good.
Looking forward to it. She's been waiting for it. Long-awaited AEW debut. Hashtag Virtuosa.
Potential ROH names are going to be working AEW Elevation.
Yeah, so this one, people have been a bit quiet on this one, but there are 2 names there that competed during last night's taping. The first one, Rhett Titus, apparently having a very good match with, and I've written this down because I don't know how to pronounce it right, and everybody in the other office was like, you say it this way, and then Justin Roberts on the mic pronounced it a different way, but Konoshi Takeshita. That's butchered that, absolutely butchered that, and apparently had a good match and shook hands afterwards. And the other one is Cheeseburger.
Yay!
Bloody Cheeseburger.
Love Cheeseburger.
Yeah, so an ROH staple for a long time. A very, very talented guy. He did rebrand himself. He was like Grandmaster C or something like that. I might be thinking of Slam Master J there. But
no, there was definitely a reworking of Cheeseburger.
Yeah, but something to see.
We got a big burger chant for him at Dark Elevation as well. So a lot of love for Cheeseburger. I feel like he's one of those guys that will have that crowd support behind him that might make into a very unusual underdog signing for AEW.
Absolutely.
Gonna put that. Obviously, all part of Ring of Honor, as I think he will probably end up being. Speaking of Raw, we'll see Samoa Joe defending the Ring of Honor World Television title against Trent Beretta on Friday on Rampage.
Not too shabby, isn't it?
They'll have a lovely time. We'll also see a 6-woman tag match featuring Jade Cargill, Red Velvet, Kiera Hogan, and Willow Nightingale, Trish Adora, and Sky Blue all amongst it. Plus, Danhausen is going to square up with, now, I'm worried about the pronunciation of this, so I've written it down. They all laughed at me in the office upstairs. I'm going to make sure I get it right. Hook.
No, Hook.
Oh, it's Hook.
Hook.
It's Hook. Danhausen and Hook having a square off, a face-to-face. I wish I know who did it. If it's you, 10 points to Gryffindor or whichever house you're in, because they had that little segment on Dynamite where Danhausen was like, if you won't be cursed by Danhausen, you will fight Danhausen. And Danhausen prods him in the chest. And then someone's edited that, so as the prod happens, it starts playing My Way by Limp Bizkit.
Fantastic.
Check. It was a fun time.
He had his in-ring return proper, like last week, didn't he, as well? Danhausen, apparently no ring rust at all. He's looking great. Very excited. It's not the feud that I thought we would get as his, like, first big one, but there you go.
I'm surprised. I was unsure whether or not this was the right thing to do, to have Hook and Danhausen.
I'm still not sure.
I'm still not, a lot of people just kind of just accept, like, oh, this fine, that'll be great. Well, I'm not sure. I'll keep an eye on that one. It's a good time for fans of Danhausen, though. It's also a good time if you run a stadium, because WWE could be giving you a phone call.
We know you're watching.
There he is.
Big shout out.
Tom
made a reference.
John Trafford, who owns Old Trafford. Steve Etihad Stadium.
WWE looking to be running more stadium shows next week. Next year.
Night.
Over the next year. Andrew Zarian tweeting. So where did that come from?
I love the idea of WWE just going, we're going to pack out 5 stadium shows next week. God.
Do it in the UK and you bloody will. Yeah. See the pre-sales. A source over at WWE mentioning that WWE intends to run more stadium shows moving forward in 2023. So 2022 has 8 stadium events, which is a lot of stadium events anyway. But the goal is to make this the new norm. It's a Nick Khan approach when it comes to premium live events.
Now, there is some good to come from this, because what they've discovered is by having a stadium event, it isn't just a stadium event. Like, you turn it into several days of festivities in the city that hosts that event. We're going to see it in Cardiff. Like, Cardiff's just going to become wrestling bonkers for a week. You're going to have wrestling fans from all over the continent descending on Wales. The island might tip. And we're going to see that, I think, as they do more and more stadium events.
Awesome. It's great for local economies. There's nothing bad about that at all, is there? It's great.
It absolutely is. Right. I read this story. I put this story together at about 5 o'clock this morning, and I was just so excited to hear the name Haid Vanson back again.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Well, you say that, he's in like every one of our lists.
Pretty much. What happened to that wrestler? We found out today. So, Haid Vanson, I remember this first time round, because I'm old enough and ugly enough to remember it first time round. And Haid Vanson was a guy that was set to feud with The Undertaker. And then they went, no. And we never heard from him again. Just those vignettes of him against a brick wall going, oh, I'm all evil, me.
I don't think he really wrestled much after.
No.
Either. He was done, like, he had this thing on SmackDown, quick promo, sort of teasing something to do with The Undertaker. And then that was it. Apparently, he was Mark's little boy. I don't get this, right? What's it? Fill me in.
Right,
here,
okay. So, Freddie Prinze Jr. on his podcast, Wrestling with Freddie, he talked about how he and a few of the writers were assigned the task of giving Undertaker a kind of between houses feud, sort of like between major feuds, somebody that he can feud with. And there was a few names thrown around, and Haid Vanson, who was a British wrestler who'd moved to Florida Championship Wrestling, came up as somebody that you could do something fun with. And the idea was that they'd have this guy come in with this sort of gothic cult-like demeanor, and it was going to be revealed that he was the Undertaker's son. They're very vague on this on the podcast, whether it's like a biological son or like spiritual son, or whether there was. So they were very kind of vague on it, but that was going to be the story they were going to tell. They shot vignettes, which we've seen. Everybody was buzzing. Prinze Jr. goes on to tell the story. We're in the production meeting, and everyone is putting their segments through. This is for SmackDown. Here comes our segment, and nobody said boo to the last 2 or even 3 weeks of TV that we got out of it. Not one agent. Not Kevin Dunn, not Vince McMahon, not anybody. So this isn't talking about the Haid Vanson thing. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, Triple H says, are we seriously going with this guy? He looks like he cuts my grass. Vince starts laughing.
Dead. It's over.
Literally all the air went out of the room. He says, like, you could just feel it. Now it's embarrassing to the company because you put something on TV for 3 weeks and then you remove it with no explanation. Anyway, Vince laughs, Triple H laughs, Kevin Dunn laughs, and he sells it like it's the best joke ever, because of course he does. So I'm like, oh man, this is dead. Prince Jr. says he felt awful for Vanson. He said, this guy came up from FCW. His very first professional wrestling storyline with the company was going to be with the greatest, and he's over the moon. Now he has to be told that it's not going to happen because he looks like the guy that cuts Triple H's grass. It's a sickening, sickening feeling, and it's our responsibility as the writing team to communicate it to this guy. So that is the answer to the question, what happened to that wrestler?
He was screwed either way.
Someone main eventing got me lamenting.
He was screwed either way, right? This was a filler feud before Undertaker could do something with Edge.
Yes.
So this was going to be a one and done anyway. So he's going to be brought up as Taker's son and got been squashed. And then he would have disappeared anyway.
But you could have, I don't know, I think he could have disappeared, or you could have somehow sort of put him into the mix anyway.
I guess you could have done something with him and
people
Edge.
have had like squash feuds with the Undertaker.
But what a terrible way to debut. Come up, get killed. I know it's the Undertaker and everything, but it's sad. They say that they taped 3, only 1 ever aired, didn't it?
Yeah, because I was thinking when he was saying like there was 3, and I was like, I thought there was only 1.
No,
There's like
only 1 aired.
Infamous one.
Yeah.
Of Hayde Vanson. But I feel like there's a piece of my wrestling, the jigsaw knowledge that I have in my brain is now filled. But I feel a bit sad.
It's fascinating. Yeah, poor guy. Yeah. Especially the fact that he stepped away from wrestling afterwards. And he was maybe it wasn't for him.
Maybe he's mowing lawns.
Huh? Maybe he's what?
Nothing.
I genuinely didn't know.
Maybe he's mowing lawns. I hope he's not. I hope he's all right. I hope he's genuinely.
Backtracking, pull it back.
I hope he's
Come on,
all right.
Mr. Nice.
Sorry, I'm going to do a U-turn that you can see from space. Love to Hayde Vanson. Come on, Desert Island Graps for a bit in a minute.
You see, no, I watched some of his old British stuff, and he was a really good wrestler.
Yeah, he's good. He is good.
See,
I know
I'm backtracking now as well.
But he is good. He is good. Much love to you.
Hell of a lawn cutter as well. You can do the stripes and everything. It's class.
Right, more news throughout the day. You can find it at cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.